Some nights still glow inside my phone, not because they're brighter, only because they never ended. Your name. Learn how to disappear without ever leaving the top of my screen. I rewrote the same few words until they stopped looking like language and started looking like fear. Morning arrived, life arrived, new streets, new faces, new versions of me. Everything moved except my thumb. I kept telling myself tomorrow deserves something better. Tomorrow became a season became a lifetime. Maybe the perfect timing was only a story people tell themselves when they're afraid to lose what's already gone. We waited for the perfect moment, and that's exactly why it never came. Two hearts standing at the same green light, both believing the other wouldn't move first. Now every silence sounds like your name, echoing through years we never lived. We waited for the perfect moment, and that's exactly why it never came. Two hearts standing at the same green light, both believing the other would move first. Now every silence sounds like your name, echoing through years we never lived. I don't remember what I wanted to say anymore. Funny, the words disappeared. Only the way survived. Sometimes I unlock old conversations just to prove hesitation can outlive love. The message still isn't sent, not because I forgot, because pressing send wouldn't finally admit there's nobody waiting on the other side. Years later, someone mentioned your name like it belonged to another lifetime. They smiled, they said you once confessed there was a message you never sent either. No details, no screenshots, no ending, just another silence finding mine. Maybe our story was never destroyed. Maybe it was simply left inside two drafts that kept saving themselves until there was nothing left to say. We waited for the perfect moment, and that's exactly why it never came. Two hearts standing at the same green light, both believing the other would move first. Now every silence sounds like your name, echoing through years we never lived. We waited for the perfect moment, and that's exactly why it never came. Two hearts standing at the same green light, both believing the other would move first. Now every silence sounds like your name, echoing through years we never lived. Some stories don't end with goodbye. They end with two people who never realized they were waiting for each other. Every room had its own version of me. I learned that early, the classroom wanted perfect answers. So I ironed every mistake before any never breathing too loud. Then came the friends I became, the loudest laugh, the quickest joke, the one who carried every conversation. So nobody would ask how I was doing, it worked, nobody asked. I learned every role except being myself. Changed my voice to match the crowd, wore borrowed dreams like they were mine. Everybody knew my name, but nobody ever met me. I learned every role except being myself. Built a home inside approval, locked the real me outside the door. I kept fitting into every life until I no longer fit my own. Love arrived, wearing gentle eyes. I memorized everything you liked, your music, your movies, your favorite colors. One day I looked in the mirror and couldn't remember which ones were mine. At work I collected promotions the way children collect stickers. Another title, another smile, another version that people applauded. Success echoed through the office, silence echoed through my apartment. Every goodbye left another costume hanging inside me. None of them had my size. I learned every role except being myself. Changed my voice to match the crowd, wore borrowed dreams like they were mine. Everybody knew my name, but nobody ever met me. I learned every role except being myself. Built a home inside approval, locked the real me outside the door. I kept fitting into every life until I no longer fit my own. So tonight I have nothing impressive to tell you. No perfect sentence, no polished ending. I don't know who I'll become tomorrow. I only know the next voice you hear from me won't be borrowed. If you stay, you'll finally meet the person who was quietly surviving behind every version of my name. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I used to imagine success had its own soundtrack, crowds, champagne, phones that never stop ringing. Some kind of anthem waiting behind one impossible day. So I kept running, believing silence was only the distance between me and everything I wanted. Years disappeared inside early mornings, coffee turning cold, empty trains, street lights switching off before I got home. Nobody called it success back then. It only looked like repetition. The loudest dream I ever chased, a ride without making any noise. No fireworks cross the sky, no strangers learned my name. Only the morning knew I'd made it, because I smiled before the sun did. success would change the city. It only changed the way I heard it. One morning, the alarm rang like always. The kettle boiled, the window open. The same birds argued over the same rooftop. Nothing had announced itself yet. Everything felt different. The dream had already happened. Not overnight, not in one moment. It had been arriving. A little every ordinary day. I refused to quit. People asked, does it feel different now? I searched for spectacular answer. All I found was peace, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself to anyone. I stopped measuring life by applause. I started measuring it by waking up without wishing I was someone else. The loudest dream I ever chased arrived without making any noise. No fireworks crossed the sky, no strangers learned my name. Only the morning knew I'd made it, because I smiled before the sun did. The loudest dream I ever chased arrived without making any noise. Some victories don't shake the world, they simply quiet the storm inside. I thought success would change the city. It only changed the way I heard it. Maybe dreams were never meant to become louder. Maybe the greatest gift was teaching me to hear the ordinary moments I spent years walking past. I always knew how to find the missing sentence, the sharper word, the cleaner logic. Every conversation felt like a courtroom, and I walked in already expecting to leave with a verdict. People call me brilliant, I mistook that for being right. I could untangle every accusation, turn every silence into evidence, find the smallest crack inside someone else's point, and make it look impossible to repair. The room would go quiet, I'd smile. Another victory, another chair left empty. I protected my pride until there was nobody left to protect it from. I won every battle people could remember, and lost every hand that tried to hold mine. Being right felt so powerful until I looked around and heard the echo. I protected my pride until there was nobody left to protect it from. What good is the final word when it becomes the only voice in the room? I built a throne out of certainty and crowned myself alone. Years passed, birthdays became smaller, phone calls became rarer. Some people stopped explaining themselves, others stopped trying. It wasn't sudden, loneliness never arrives back. response, perfect facts, perfect timing, perfect proof. Then, for the first time, I wonder what would happen if I chose the person instead of the point. So I close my mouth. Listen, really listen. And something strange happened. Nobody lost the silence. Didn't feel empty, it felt safe. That was the first argument I ever lost, and the first conversation to say something worth keeping. I protected my pride until there was nobody left to protect it from. I won every battle people could remember, and lost every hand that tried to hold mine. Being right felt so powerful, until I learned love doesn't keep score. I protected my pride until there was nobody left to protect it from. Some hearts aren't asking for a verdict, they're only asking to be understood. The strongest words I ever spoke were the ones I finally chose not to say. Now, when I feel another argument rising inside me, I ask myself one question: do I want to be right? Or do I want this person to still be here? Tomorrow, every morning began with a finish line. Coffee before sunrise, shoes already moving. Before my thoughts could catch up, I measured life in calendars, deadlines, notifications, and trains that never waited for anyone. Neither did I. The future kept borrowing my attention, until the present couldn't afford to keep me anymore. One station, one platform, one closing door. I reached out too late. The train slid away without looking back. For a moment I stood there, angry as 60 seconds that refused to forgive me. Then, with nowhere left to run, I thought I had fallen behind. Life kept breathing, children laughed without checking the time. A violin filled the air as if no schedule had ever existed. The wind turned a forgotten ticket into a tiny paper bird. An old man fed pigeons with the patience I had been starving for. Nothing extraordinary happened. That was the extraordinary part. For the first time I noticed the day instead of chasing the next one. I arrived home with no achievement to celebrate, no task crossed off a list, only a strange feeling that my heart had finally learned the speed it was built for. I thought I had fallen behind it. Life was simply asking me to slow down. Oh, the train I spent years trying to catch left without taking the best part of me. Some destinations only appear when your footsteps finally become quiet. I thought I had fallen behind. Life was simply asking me to slow down. Funny how the only train I ever missed delivered me exactly where I belong. I wasn't late for my future, I was finally present for my life. Tomorrow I'll still have dreams, I'll still build, I'll still believe, but not so fast that I walk past the only life I was trying to reach all along. People always smiled when they spoke to me. You did amazing, we're proud of you. You've come so far, I thank them, I smile back, then quietly left every kind word outside the door, like shoes that never belonged inside my home. Praise always sounded like it had been delivered to the wrong address. So I kept chasing another achievement, another reason to finally believe what everyone else already seemed to know. The hardest compliment to accept was the one I deserved. Every kind word reached my hands, but never found my heart. I spent years searching for proof while living inside the answer. The hardest compliment to accept was the one I deserved. Everyone saw a light in me except the one behind my eyes. Love had already found my name, I just never answered it. One rainy afternoon, I opened an old cardboard box that smelled like forgotten summers. School photos, tiny trophies, crayon drawings folded at the corners. Then a single envelope, my handwriting, age 12. Inside there wasn't a list of dreams, no famous career, no expensive house, no promises to become extraordinary. Only one sentence: I hope I grow into someone who makes people feel safe, who stays kind, even when life becomes difficult. I read it once, then again, the room became strangely quiet. Not because I had failed that little boy, but because, without noticing, I had become him. Friends called when they were breaking, family trusted me with their fears. Strangers left conversations lighter than they had arrived. I had spent years trying to become someone worthy, never realizing I already was the person my younger heart had been waiting for. The hardest compliment to accept was the one I deserved. Every kind word reached my hands, but never found my heart. Now I know they were describing someone I'll become someday. The hardest compliment to accept was the one I deserved. The only voice that still refused me was quietly living in my own mind. People believed in me for years, until one day I finally joined them tonight. I folded the letter and placed it inside my wallet, not to remember who I used to be, but to remind myself that sometimes the person who sees us most clearly is the child who dreamed of us before fear learned our name. The spotlight found me before I found my breath. A room full of strangers rose to their feet. Hands collided, smiles filled the distance between the stage and the seats. Someone placed a trophy into my hands. It was heavier than I expected, not because of the medal, because of everything it was carrying. They applauded the finish. They never heard the silence that built it. Every standing ovation echoed from nights that ended with nobody calling back. The loudest sound in this room was born inside 1,000 quiet mornings. They applauded the finish. They never saw the beginning. Dreams aren't written beneath bright lights. They're carved into empty rooms. You can celebrate the final step, but you can't clap for every lonely one before it. The applause became distant. Suddenly I wasn't on the stage anymore. I was back inside a tiny room where the heater barely worked. One chair, one notebook, one more attempt. I remembered calling people who promised they'd always answer. Oh, the phone kept ringing, only the silence picked up. I remember walking home under streetlights that knew my footsteps better than any audience ever would. I remember the mornings when doubt sat beside me longer than confidence did. No cameras, no speeches, no witnesses. Just another day, choosing not to quit the crowd. Called it talent. I knew it had another name. Returning again and again and again, even when nobody expected to see me tomorrow. They applauded the finish. They never heard the silence that built it. Every standing ovation echoed from nights that taught my heart to keep beating alone. Success didn't begin on this stage. It began the day I stayed. They greatest prize was never in my hands. It was becoming someone who refused to leave. This trophy will gather dust someday, but the person built without applause will stay with me forever. When the lights finally faded, I carried only one thing home. Not the award, not the photographs, not the applause, just the quiet certainty that the version of me who almost gave up would have smiled the loudest. Every morning began with someone else. Another headline, another promotion, another smiling photograph, holding the life I thought I was supposed to be living. I stopped counting my own steps, started measuring the distance between me and strangers. Success became a race I never remembered entering. Still I ran, I was late, only because I was reading someone else's story. That chapter 20 looked so beautiful, I forgot comparisons stole years from me. One quiet glance at a time. One Sunday I visited my grandfather's house. Dust floated through the afternoon light. The old library still smelled of cedar wood and forgotten winter's books covered every shelf. Some were worn thin, others looked untouched. One thing caught my eye, none of them were closed. One rested halfway through, another near the final chapter. One had barely begun. I walked from shelf to shelf, waiting to find the right order. There wasn't one, only stories living in different moments. My grandfather looked up from his chair. He didn't explain, he only smiled, as if the room had already answered the question I hadn't known how to ask. That evening I closed my phone, opened my own life. For the first time in years, my progress felt visible. Not because I had moved faster, because I had finally stopped measuring my pages against someone else's ending. I was late, only because I was reading someone else's story. The page I envied yesterday once looked exactly like mine. Every masterpiece begins with the page nobody applauds. I was late until I realized there was no race at all. Every book reaches its ending without borrowing another's chapters. Now I turn my own pages at the speed my soul can understand. So if you ever find me walking slower, don't worry, I'm not behind. I'm simply writing the chapter that no one else could ever write for me. wasn't looking for memories, I just needed more space inside the closet. An old jacket slipped from a hanger, its pocket still carried a train ticket, a faded receipt, and the smell of someone who believed the whole world was waiting. I almost put it away. Instead, I kept opening boxes, a notebook filled with plans that never happened, shoes worn thin from chasing dreams too big for their size, a cracked guitar pick, a work badge, a friendship bracelet with one thread ready to break. Every shelf introduced me to someone I used to be. I didn't lose who I was, I built who I am. Every version quietly left a light inside the rooms I still carry. None of them asked for a goodbye, they simply became my foundation. I didn't lose who I was, I became every road they couldn't finish. Some dreams changed their names, some fears finally fell asleep. The people I used to be still walk beside me when I move. There was the teenager who wrote impossible futures on bedroom walls because paper felt too small. The student who apologized before speaking as if taking up space needed permission. The worker who confused being exhausted with being valuable. The friend who always answered, always stayed, always said yes until he forgot how his own voice sounded. I wanted to tell them something, not I'm sorry, not I miss you, just thank you. Thank you for surviving the days I no longer remember. Thank you for believing when experience hadn't arrived yet. Thank you for carrying me far enough that I could carry us now. I folded the jacket, closed the notebook, returned every object to its place. Not because I wanted to hide them, because museums protect what still matters. I didn't lose who I was, I built who I am. Every scar became a doorway, every ending learned to build. I spent years mourning old versions without seeing they never truly left. I didn't lose who I was, I finally learned where they went. The dreamer still gives me courage, the fearful one still keeps me kind, the tired one reminds me to rest, the hopeful one still looks at the sky. None of them vanished, they simply learn to breathe together. So if tomorrow I become someone new, I hope this version of me doesn't disappear without hearing one last thing. Thank you for getting us this far. My future used to arrive every night before sleep did. Always louder, always darker. It knew exactly where to find the weakest part of my imagination. What if you fail? What if they leave? What if this is as far as you'll ever go? By sunrise, I had already lived 100 disasters, none of them real. Every future that frightened me eventually became a memory I survived. The monsters waiting in tomorrow forgot to appear when tomorrow came. Fear wrote 1,000 endings for my life. Reality quietly crossed them out. Every future that frightened me became another road beneath my feet. I carried storms inside my mind, then walked through ordinary rain instead. Maybe tomorrow isn't asking for perfection, only the courage to arrive. I remember the interview I was certain would ruin me. It became the job that taught me how strong I already was. I remembered the goodbye I thought would end my story. It became the empty space where better people found me. I remember the nights I was convinced my heart would never heal. Now I struggle to remember the sound of those tears, not because they weren't real, because healing speaks more quietly than pain. Then it happened. I look behind me, years of old tomorrows stood there like photographs inside a long hallway. Every single one had once terrified me. Every single one was now simply my past. That's when I smiled, not because life had become predictable, because fear had become a witness with a terrible memory. It had warned me about endings, and somehow kept missing the mornings that follow. Every future that frightened me eventually became a memory I survived. I don't trust every promise life makes, but I don't trust every fear anymore. The road ahead is still unknown, yet so is every road behind me. Every future that frightened me taught me something unexpected. Fear was never trying to tell the future. It was only trying to protect a heart that couldn't see beyond the next horizon. So I'll let it walk beside me, but never hold the map again. Tomorrow will probably knock again with new questions, new doubts, new impossible stories. I'll listen, I'll breathe, then I'll remember. Every version of tomorrow that once kept me awake is now just another page I turned without even noticing. And somehow that gives me enough faith to keep turning the next one. He always arrived a few minutes early, enough time to ask everyone else how their week had been. He remembered birthdays without reminders, and knew who needed encouragement, who hated Mondays secretly wanted to quit. It amazed me how someone could carry so many people without looking tired. Or maybe I never looked closely enough. He mastered pretending, and we mastered believing him. We applauded every joke he told, never noticing what it was hiding. Some people become everyone's shelter until nobody wonders where they go to escape. He mastered pretending while we confused strength with silence. We saw the smile right on time, but never waited for the truth behind it. It's easy to notice who's shouting, harder to notice who's quietly disappearing. There was the afternoon he stayed behind to help someone else finish their work, even though his own hands were already trembling from exhaustion. There was the celebration where he made the whole table laugh, then volunteered to clear the plates just to spend a few minutes alone. There was the long drive home when his phone lit up with messages asking for advice. He answered everyone. Nobody asked why he was still awake. None of those moments looked important. That's the strange thing. The loudest warnings rarely sound like alarms. Sometimes they look exactly like someone being dependable. Years later, people still say I never saw it coming. Maybe because we were looking for cracks, not realizing some people become experts at holding the walls together while the foundation quietly gives way. He mastered pretending, and we became fluent in the performance. Not because we didn't love him, but because we believed love was obvious. Sometimes the kindest question in the world is the one nobody thinks to ask. He mastered pretending. But I don't want to repeat that story. So now, when someone says I'm fine, I listen to everything that follows and everything that doesn't. I'll be the person who stays long enough to hear the answer beneath the answer. If someone always carries everyone else's weight, maybe the greatest kindness isn't thanking them, it's asking, can I carry yours for a while?
For years, I kept one door unlocked, not because I expected company, because I expected an explanation. Every time my phone vibrated, some part of me straightened its back. Maybe this time, maybe today, maybe the words had finally found their way. They never did. I stopped waiting for your words and finally heard my own. The silence outside my door was never the thing keeping me trapped. I handed you the key to Some arrived the day you stopped checking the mailbox. Freedom knocked long before I answered. At first I rehearsed our conversation like an actor who refused to leave the stage. You would explain, I would understand. Everything would return to where it belonged. But seasons kept changing without asking whether I was ready. People into my life shared meals, shared laughter, shared ordinary days, while one empty chair still held more power than everyone who had actually stayed. That's when I realized what waiting had become. Not hope, a habit. One afternoon I walked through the old part of the city. A locksmith was replacing a rusted lock. He smiled and said, "Funny thing, sometimes people change the door when all they needed was a new key." He went back to his work, I kept walking. His words followed me home that night. I stopped asking whether you'd ever understand what you did. Instead I asked why I had trusted someone else's sentence to decide when my life could begin again. The answer didn't arrive all at once. It arrived every morning. I woke up without waiting. I stopped waiting for your words and finally heard my own. Healing never asked for your permission. It simply grew where expectation could no longer live. The apology I needed most was the one I owed myself. I stopped waiting for your words and the door unlocked itself. Not because you came back, because I finally picked up the key I left in your shadow. You never gave me closure. I discovered it had been learning my voice all along. Now, if your apology ever arrives, I'll read it with an open heart. Not because I still need it, because I no longer do. Oh yeah. For years I imagined success would arrive like a parade, crowds, headlines, a life that looked nothing like the one I was living. I thought the morning after would introduce me to someone new. Instead, the alarm rang at the usual hour. Sunlight found the same floor. The kettle began its quiet song. The bin still needed taken outside. The dream came true, and the kettle still whistled at 8. The streets didn't bow as I walked through them. The sky forgot to change its color. Success never rewrote my mornings. It rewrote the way I entered them. The dream came true, and ordinary kept its name. The miracle was in a different life. The miracle was finally enjoying this one. Peace doesn't arrive with fireworks. It slips into the smallest routines. I buttered toast, watered the plant I almost forgot to keep alive. Last year, straightened the blanket before before leaving, lock the front door, the key turned with the same sound. It always had funny, nothing around me had become extraordinary. Yet every little task felt lighter, as though something invisible had finally stopped pulling against my shoulders. For so long I believed my destination was somewhere ahead. Another milestone, another finish line, another version of myself. But standing in that quiet kitchen, I understood what all those years had really been chasing. Not applause, not numbers, not admiration. Relief, the kind that lets you wash a plate without planning the next 10 years. The kind that lets an evening remain just an evening. The dream came true, and the kettle still whistled at 8. The house sounded exactly the same, only my heart had changed its rhythm. Gratitude speaks so softly, you almost mistake it for silence. The dream came true, and I finally stopped running after myself. Success wasn't waiting at the finish line, it was waiting inside the person who arrived. I didn't build a perfect life, I simply built one I no longer wanted to escape. So if tomorrow another dream finds me, I'll welcome it. Then I'll make breakfast, open the curtains, tie my shoes and smile. Because the greatest reward was never having a different morning. It was waking up without wishing. I was living someone else's. Every evening ended the same way. The lights grew softer, the hallway felt quiet. I checked the lock, turned off the last lamp. Then, without thinking, I placed your shoes beside the door. The left one always slightly ahead, exactly how you used to leave them. Nobody ever noticed, nobody was supposed to. I didn't stop loving you, I just kept leaving the shoes by the door. Hope a strange little ritual was too quiet for the world to hear. Some promises outlive the voices that made them, and keep waiting in ordinary places. I didn't stop loving you, I just believed one more night the hallway learned your absence. But my heart never changed the routine. Some doors stay open for years without moving an inch. The neighbors must have wondered why one pair never gathered dust, why every morning they disappeared only to return before nightfall. They never asked, I never explained. Some habits look too small to carry that much history. You never said goodbye. never leave. I didn't stop loving you. I just stopped leaving the shoes by the door. Love doesn't disappear when waiting comes to an end. Sometimes it simply changes rooms and learns a quieter way to stay. I didn't stop loving you. I finally let hope change its shape. The bravest goodbye isn't forgetting, it's closing the door with grateful hands, knowing that if you never return, the love we shared still found its way home. Inside me tonight, the hallway looks different, not empty or peaceful. And for the first time in longer than I can measure, when I turned the key, I wasn't closing the door on you. I was opening the rest of my life. Always leaned against the same wall. Its strings caught the afternoon light, like they were waiting for familiar hands. One day I'd always say, when things slow down, you'll show me. Life kept answering later, and somehow later became its own language. You never taught me the song, but somehow your silence did. The notes we never played together kept growing inside the quiet years. Some lessons never need a classroom, they only need a heart. continued with mine. And somewhere between the last note you played and the first one, I finally understood. A father doesn't always leave finished songs. Sometimes he leaves just enough music for his child to discover. There